Glory Collision 3 is upon us, and now it's time for me to break down every fight from the first prelim all the way up to the main event. First off, there's a lightweight contest between Andrea Khbabez and Marcus Persis. Both these guys are making their debut. Andre Khbabez thrives a lot in the clinch. He utilizes just basically three weapons: that overhand right, which he normally swings his head, that push kick, and then just that knee right into the clinch. If he's going to win this fight, it's probably going to be a pretty lackluster decision. However, on the other hand, you have Marcus Persis, who is more of a sniper, utilizes flying knees very beautifully, sets them up well, as well as boxing combinations, utilizes a good right straight. As for who's going to win this fight, I really hope that Persis wins this fight. I believe Persis will catch Khbabez coming in trying to clinch and get a knockout in the first round. After that, there's a welterweight showcase between Degoleri Kamura and Edward Gafarcia. Both these guys are also making their debut. Kamura works well off the back foot, utilizes a lot of shots to the body, both through his boxing and nice knees in the clinch. Edward Gafarcia is a boxing-heavy, power-punching style, likes to move forward a lot, is more of a plotter. As for who I believe will win this fight, I'm going to give this slight edge to Kamura. He's got more experience, and I think his cardio overall is going to work better for him in this fight. I have him taking a decision. Finishing off the prelims, there's a heavyweight contest between Nabil Khachab and Vladimir Toksyanov. Nabil is 1-1 thus far in the division. He keeps a steady pace, lots of pressure and output for a heavyweight fighter. However, when it comes to knockout power, he is rather limited, and he struggles against fighters who are good off of the back foot. Vladimir is just more of a heavyweight brawler, lots of heavy shots thrown, puts a lot behind his punches. I'm going to go with Nabil here. I just think his pressure is going to work well against most fighters who don't have a lot of elite ability, and Vladimir has just proven to be rather inconsistent throughout his career, and I don't believe that he has too much of a one-punch knockout power to give Khachab too much trouble. So I'll have Nabil taking a decision. There's a light heavyweight contest between Felipe Micheletti and Ibrahim Elbouni. Elbouni is 3-0 in the promotion. This is his first main card after he's been on the rivals on the sidelines. Felipe Micheletti holds a win over Luis Tavares, is coming off of a win over Nordin Makhadim. Micheletti's best weapons are that intercepting knee to the body used in the clinch. He also utilizes leg kicks very beautifully, and they're going to be here against Elbouni. Elbouni does not do a great job of checking them. He has more of a boxing-heavy style. He does have that one-punch knockout power, as demonstrated in his last fight in One Glory 3. I think Micheletti is just way too hittable, and he's going to be too dependent on those knees to the body and those leg kicks. Meanwhile, Elbouni is going to consistently be able to land with him, and I just don't trust Micheletti's chin to be able to continuously take those hooks from Elbouni and not get at least knocked down. So I'll have Elbouni taking a decision. Micheletti is a very tough fighter, but I don't think that he'll get this one done. Middleweights are up next as Michael Boapea takes on Ulrich Bockmann. Boapea is coming off of a win a few months ago over the only man to beat the current middleweight Glory champion in Ulrich Balak. He has a boxing-heavy game plan, utilizes that jab beautifully. Both these guys are more of these like knockout-focused boxers. I do think the main difference is going to be Boapea. It has more fundamental technique. That jab that he utilizes is absolutely beautiful. I think that's going to intercept a lot of what Ulrich Bockmann does. Ulrich utilizes a lot more of those just twisting hooks that can be intercepted through Bowman's jab. This fight's going to be very dangerous for both gentlemen. However, I do believe that Boapea has really evolved over his past few Glory fights, and he is the better fundamental kickboxer here. So I'm going to lean Boapea here. I think his just fundamental jab and leg kicks are going to be too much for Bockmann, and as long as he stays safe, he should cruise to a comfortable decision victory here. Moving into the first of 4 title fights, Andy Semelier will be taking on Jay Overmeer in a rematch from a fight that they had a few years ago that Semelier won via a decision. Both these guys are undefeated in Glory thus far. In terms of just technique, I think this is going to be the closest fight on the entire card. Both these guys are so well-rounded and have improved a lot since their first encounter. Overmeer has become more quick on his feet. His boxing technique has improved substantially. Meanwhile, Semelier has improved his overall kicking game, has become more dangerous on the feet as well. For Overmeer, he just needs to stick and move, utilize those leg kicks well, maybe come in with the left hook once Semelier overextends. he really needs to take advantage of what Semblier was struggling against Groenhart, because that fight was a lot closer than it should have been. Partly due to the fact that Groenhart was utilizing the leg kicks very beautifully on Semblier. He doesn't do a great job of checking them. Overmare needs to take advantage of that and constantly needs to be on that bicycle, keep moving, because if he stays stagnant, if he starts to gas out, that's when Semblier is going to be able to land his combination work on him a lot easier. For Semblier, he's going to need to work the body a lot. He's going to need to understand that those first 2 rounds he's probably going to lose against Overmare, because Overmare just is so explosive and it has just so much movement that's going to be difficult for him. But Overmare's overall cardio has a lot of problems. As long as Semblier can push the pressure from a constant pace from the beginning, work the body, work the legs, and slowly work on Overmare's cardio, I can see him cruising to a close but decisive decision here. It's going to look similar to Semblier's fight with Ali Neliev, wherein Overmare is going to have a lot of success in the earlier rounds, however begin to gas out as the 3rd and 4th round progress, and that's where Semblier is going to take over and eventually get a decision victory. Donovan Wisse will be defending his middleweight crown against possibly his toughest challenge to date, Serkan Osligin. Osligin is a powerhouse Turkish power puncher. He fights out of the southpaw stance, and that left straight and left hook is just made out of lead and can send a lot of fighters down to the ground. He can often be overexertive and be over-aggressive in terms of his fighting style. He has honed it in more. Outside of the left hand, he utilizes clinched knees as well. Wisse is one of the more technically sound kickboxers in all of Glory Kickboxing. He does a nice job at just sitting back and prodding his opponents with leg kicks, nice movement to the body, spreads it out. He uses rather good distance management, though his accuracy is not up to par with some of the other strikers in that division. Serkan's power is always going to put Wisse in a very uncomfortable position here. Wisse is always going to need to be careful, be very defensively sound throughout this fight, and just probe him with leg kicks, not overextend at all, be very crucial with what shots he chooses to select. And if he does that, he should be able to corral Osligin into some shots, maybe even be able to drop him a few times. But overall, he should just be looking to get a decision win here and never be too overexerted to try and finish this fight. So unless Wisse gets a little too reckless out there, I do believe that he'll win a comfortable decision here. I think that he is just a far superior technical kickboxer. Even though Serkan has improved a lot, he still is a little too reckless for my liking. So I'll have Wisse taking a decision. Light heavyweight contest in the co-main event for the interim light heavyweight title between Tarik Khbabez and Mohammed Ayman. Originally, Tarik was supposed to be taking on Abina, undisputed title. However, Abina had to pull out with an injury, so now he's taking on Mohammed on very short notice. Tarik is just a smotherer of Dutch kickboxing style, Dutch Moroccan infused kickboxing style. Lots of heavy pressure output with his boxing combinations and leg kicks. As for he's got solid boxing fundamentals, well-rounded rather everywhere. The hooks that he utilizes are rather sufficient in trying to outmaneuver opponents. For him in this fight, he's going to need to work on the boxing on Tarik. Tarik has a tendency to just walk into jabs and especially uppercuts, especially if Ayman sets him up well. Boxing heavy punchers give him a lot of problems. Also, going to the legs very early on will prove fruitful for Amin if he chooses to go that route. Otherwise, Tarik is just going to continuously march him down, put him in that phone booth, and disrupt any rhythm that he tries to put on. Because it is short notice, and because Tarik is just such a tough stylistic matchup for so many fighters, I am going to have Tarik beating Ayman. I think he's just going to drag him into a war, and I don't think Ayman's going to be ready for it. So I'll have Khbabez taking this via a 3rd round knockout. Finally, in the main event, Antonio Plazibat will be taking on Kevin Osaro for the interim heavyweight title. This fight is going to be a lot more competitive than most people will make it out to be. I think a lot of people are going to look at this as just Antonio Plazibat finally winning the title, at least for the interim title. However, Osaro can give him a ton of problems. If Osaro chooses to counterpunch here, I could definitely see him winning this fight, because Plazibat leaves himself open after his combination work, and Osaro can hit him, constantly intercepting him after those hooks that Plazibat chooses to throw, and you could knock him down just as Nordin Mahadim was able to do. However, the problem is Osaro is very uncomfortable on the back foot, and against someone like Plazibat, who just has such a smothering style of kickboxing, with just relentless pressure and those hooks and leg kicks to the body, it's going to be dangerous for him to be able to properly account for himself on the back foot, especially since defensively he is not very sound there. His cardio is also problematic, and against someone like Plazibat, who's going to be constantly wearing you down over that fight, sending bombs at you, and he doesn't. It's just going to be a continuously dangerous endeavor for Osaro. I don't like the way that he blocks punches. I think Plazibat's going to continuously land on him. And the fact is, Osaro has not really faced someone with the same level of punching power, such as Antonio Plazibat. The same way that Aigun was able to give him so many problems off the back foot, I think Plazibat will do the exact same. So I will have Plazibat taking a second round knockout here. Osaro does definitely have a chance at winning this, but I just think that he's just not developed enough as a kickboxer to be well-rounded off of that back foot. Plazibat will win and take the interim title home with him, and hopefully we can see him versus Rico in this foreseeable future. And with that, guys, that's every single fight for Glory Collision 5. If you enjoyed, please leave a like, consider subscribing for more content. This is Share TV Productions. I'm out. Thank you for watching.